Hey guys, this is episode 63 of Talk Wrestling here on every website in the entire world, as I mentioned last week. Thank you all for watching last week. Again, over 6,500 subscribers. We're shooting for 10,000 by the end of the year, so spread the word, get it out there. Tell them to watch Talk Wrestling here on YouTube, on MySpace, Twitter, Facebook, NoDQ.com, all the pages. But make sure you get them on YouTube because we want the subscribers. So 10,000 by the end of this year. That's our goal. We're like a freaking pledge drive or something, man. We want to get it happening. Alright, this is our latest, what I like to call a VRQ, a video response question. Aaron, write that down. It's going to be the new name for it. I like to remind this person, EHWFCAW, as well as everybody sending in questions or video response questions, VRQs, limit yourself to one question. Do not comment on the YouTube board with 10 questions. Do not send me 10 questions on MySpace in the same email. Do not send in 3 questions or whatever he did here on the video. One question per email, one question per VRQ. Simple as that, please. We have a very limited time to go through all this stuff and get the show ready for you guys, so please limit it to one. That's all I ask. Alright, here is EHWFCAW's question.
Will TNA ever be able to avoid the faction storyline? It's getting kind of old. I mean, you had Jarrett's Army, you had the Angle Alliance, you had the Christian Coalition, now you have the Main Event Mafia taking on the front line. I mean, it's just getting old, and I'm sick of seeing it.
Alright. Good question. So good it blew my can away. That's how good that question was. Yeah, you know, they really do a lot of faction-based storylines. They have since the days of Jeff Jarrett being a world champion with Jarrett's Planet Jarrett's Army, Planet Jarrett, whatever you want to call it. They have done a lot of stuff like that. So I don't see a time where they will do that. But again, as I said last week, never say never. Expect the unexpected with wrestling. And if they do it, it'll be interesting to see who they put in the single spotlight for the feuds, as opposed to just the Mafia or the front line or, you know, whoever. It'll be interesting to see who they do that with. Alright. This is from Marvelous Wrestling Mark. Would Hogan being at SummerSlam make you buy a ticket? And if he does appear, who should he face? No, I am not going to SummerSlam. Oh my God. The only seats that are left that I've seen on eBay now are like either the seats that are so cheap that they're up in the rafters, I don't want to sit up there, or the seats I can't afford. Sorry, I don't want to go to SummerSlam and sit, you know, up where I sit for hockey at Staples, because I hate those seats for wrestling. My dad and my brother sat up there for Unforgiven when it was here in 2002, and they said it sucked. I don't want to sit up there. I don't want any part of that. If Hogan does appear at SummerSlam, he should face Edge. This one is from Rob Tillison. Jeff, do you think that real-life couple marriages in wrestling end because they're written together in a storyline, or it just doesn't work out for them because of personal differences? And I'm talking about couples like Jerry Lawler and the Cat, Dustin and Terry Runnels, and now Karen and Kurt Angle. If you want my honest opinion, I think being in the spotlight has a lot to do with their personal differences, because with couples, and I know from personal experience, and you know, so do a lot of people I know, when you're with that person 24 hours a day, every day, you get on each other's nerves. And eventually it'll just blow up, and you'll want to break up, and you'll want to just, you know, kill each other. I know that's personal experience. I've had that happen recently, as has a lot of people I know. I know for a fact that, you know, friends of mine I know, if they were together 24 hours a day, they'd kill each other. So, I think being on the road together has a lot to do with it. But that's not the overall main cause. The main cause underlying there is personal differences from something else. It's just being on the road together, being together all the time, brings out the worst in people like that. So, being on the road contributes, but it's not the underlying main factor. This is from TNA Evolution. Jeff, do you think by the end of this year, some of the future prospects of WWE will step up and challenge for the world title on their brand? Like example, John Morrison, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Mr. Kennedy, Evan Bourne, or even a member of Legacy. Well, I'll go through those right now. John Morrison, yes. MVP, yes. Shelton Benjamin, more than likely. Mr. Kennedy, if he stays healthy, he'll challenge. Evan Bourne on ECW, if they make ECW have a heel champion again, then yes. And a member of Legacy, if Randy Orton is still the top dog on Raw, by the end of this year, you will not see Legacy jump up and challenge because they are going to be content to be his bitches. So, no. But there's a lot of prospects that have switched brands and have moved around a little bit, so it's likely that you'll see a lot of the younger guys, the new blood, the new breed, if you will, step up to the plate and challenge for the World Championships. Whether they win the title or not is irrelevant. The fact that they're getting the shots and making things happen will be the story. And I think that if we do see that, then you'll see the ratings slowly creep up. You heard it here first. This is from Devin Hoteling. Jeff, I love your show. I watch it every week, so I know that in the past you've said that you can't see anything like the Monday Night Wars ever happening again. But as I was watching TNA recently, during a tag team match, Mike Tenay and Don West had Team 3D come out as guest commentators. And during the match, Mike Tenay brought up something that Jim Ross recently published about tag team wrestling. Why is that? I watch WWE every week, and I cannot recall a single Raw, ECW, or SmackDown commentator talking about TNA. Why is it that TNA is trying to build up something like the Monday Night Wars, or is just something else to add to the broadcast? I'd love to hear your opinion on this. Honestly, they're just trying to get a rise out of WWE, I believe. That's just my personal opinion. Again, the show is my opinion, after all. Bringing up the fact that JR mentioned something that tag team wrestling will never be what it was ever again, and having TNA respond to that the way they did, which I think was very well done, by the way, because Jim Ross is right. Tag team wrestling in WWE will never be the same as it ever was again. But TNA has an awesome tag team roster right now. TNA is phenomenal. Like I said last week, they are great. They have the great champions, Team 3D. They've got Beer Money. They've got No Limit. They've got Red and Suicide if they stay together. They've got all these great tag teams that are just so good. And, they are the best tag team division in wrestling, in my opinion, that I've seen. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens with them. As far as TNA acknowledging WWE on their show, it's just a way to get publicity. It's just a way for TNA to get recognized because most wrestling fans recognize WWE. This is from Mo Soldier 0. Do you think WWE should try and develop more tag teams like TNA has done in the last month? Well, we kind of talked briefly about the tag teams in WWE last week. The fact that there are very few. You have the Colognes, you have Kendrick and whoever his partner is going to be for the week, and then you've got the Harts, the Hart family. That's about it. So yes, WWE should try and develop more tag teams in their division for sure. They should definitely get more tag teams on that roster to challenge Carlito and Primo and make things happen in the tag team division and shake it up, because TNA is kicking their ass tag team wise right now. TNA has a solid tag team division and they're only going to get better. WWE needs to step it up. This is from Charles. Hey Jeff, since ROH has a crap load of talent and certain talent does not get a push for the world title, do you think they should bring back the ROH Pure title or create another mid-card title? Again, I don't watch Ring of Honor very much. I wish I did. HDNet, I got an email the other day from a fan. Thank you very much, fan. I don't remember your name right now. I'll get it up in just 1 second. But he told me that the ROH broadcasts on HDNet are available on this website. So thank you so much for letting me know about that. That was very nice of you. As far as another championship for Ring of Honor, I don't see the reason for that, to be honest with you. I think that Ring of Honor has their tag team championship, has their world championship, and why mess with what's working? Why mess with the status quo if it's working. They're doing a great job right now. They're getting a lot of hits. They're getting a lot of viewers. They're getting a lot of people tuning in more than they ever have. So I think why screw with it if it's working? You don't fix something if it's not broken, kids. It's as simple as that. You just don't do it. So no, I don't think Ring of Honor should add a championship. I don't think Ring of Honor should add any kind of championship whatsoever. And I want to thank Terrence Darnell West for letting me know about the Ring of Honor broadcast, which are on usports.com. Thank you very much, Terrence. I appreciate you letting me know about that. I will hit you back with something. We'll get you a Talk Wrestling t-shirt if we ever create them or something, okay? This is from Adam. Hey, Jeff, I'm currently watching the WWE's Greatest Stars of the 90s DVD, which is excellent, by the way, and a few things came to mind. Right now, I'm watching Austin Undertaker from SummerSlam 98, great match, and I noticed that aside from the blurred out F on the WWF logo, they've also blurred out Stone Cold's middle fingers. Now, I'm sure this is because of the WWE's PG movement, understandably so. My question for you is, being a fan of 27 years now, wow, you got me beat by a few years, and remembering the birth of the Attitude Era was credited because of the Hogan Era fans having, quote, grown up, do you think WWE and pro wrestling alike is a big cycle? Well, I do. Do you think that once the kiddie audience that Vince is gearing towards with Cena and PG programming are grown up, that we'll see another chapter of the pro wrestling like the Attitude Era? Or is it just a chapter that we'll only be able to relive on DVD? I'm not saying that there will ever be another Attitude Era because the lack of competition and the internet have already cemented that close. But as far as the on-screen product, will there ever be more WWE geared toward adult? I'm sure you've noticed the same thing, as I know you're an avid classic DVD watcher, but pro wrestling will never be the same as it was in the mid to late 90s. The passion that the audience had in the Austin Undertaker match was unbelievable. I miss the days of actually not being able to know what's going to happen before a huge main event takes place. Now you can pretty much figure out the results of important matches due to outside factors such as the internet, main eventers, extracurricular schedules, such as movies, and so on. I mean, Jeff Hardy vs. Edge Judgment Day was a huge match, aside from the fact that Jeff may be leaving WWE, so of course they're not going to put the strap on him. 10 years ago, we wouldn't have known that important piece of info, which would add much more to that match. But now I think either Edge... He wrote this before Judgment Day. I think Edge will win and go on as champ, or Jeff will win and Punk will cash in and walk away as champion. Obviously, neither one of those took place. Sorry about going off on a tangent there, but you seem as passionate about a wrestling fan as I am. I just wanted to get your thoughts. The question part was for the show. The rest was just mild. Oh, whoops! I read the whole thing and didn't even need to. Thank you, Adam. I've said this many times on the show. You're not going to see another Attitude Era ever again. Attitude Era was built around the Monday Night Wars. I'm lisping. Why am I lisping? Do you hear the lisp in my voice? Why am I lisping? I'm not Jack Flagger. You're not going to see another Attitude Era ever again. It's just not going to happen. Bourbon. If the Cena fans, quote, grow up, we'll see more WWE TV 14 and, TV 13 or whatever you want to call it in the near future. But for right now, WWE and Vince, they want to gear toward the PG. They want to gear toward the family. So, whatever floats their boat, I guess. I think it's a mistake to do that, to be honest with you. I think they're doing just fine. Jason Gallegos has a very long question, but I'll get to as much as I can. TNA is coming up on year 7. With all the names TNA has had, they could probably start a Hall of Fame soon, but in my opinion, they should wait for a while, so they could have a good carry-in every year. Do you see them starting the Hall of Fame, and if so, when, and who do you think is the first class inducted? Who I would have. First year, Ken Shamrock, Jerry Lynn, Larry Zbyszko, and Toby Keith as a celebrity induction. Second year, Raven, Kid Cash, Sabu, Jerry Jarrett. Third year, Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, The Naturals, AJ Brzezinski, celebrity induction. Fourth year, Simon Diamond, Scott D'Amore, Vampiro, Cassidy Riley, Tito Ortiz, celebrity induction. Fifth year, DDP, Elix Skipper, Michael Shane, Sterling Martinez, celebrity, and Petey Williams. I think these are good, solid entries. That was to show that they could actually do it for a while. Just want your thoughts. TNA will very likely have a Hall of Fame down the road. I'm talking way down the road. TNA is not in a position to do a Hall of Fame yet. They're 7 years old. WWE did a Hall of Fame in 1993. when the company was in existence for 30 years, okay? The only reason they did the Hall of Fame, and I've said this a couple times, was to acknowledge the passing of Andre the Giant and to give him recognition. That's why they did the Hall of Fame, was for Andre. Since 2004, they have, and since that, between 94 and 96, I believe, they acknowledged the past greats, and between 2004 and now, they have acknowledged the greats. But, you know, WWE is almost 50 years old. No, excuse me, I take that back. Yes, almost 50 years old, 1963. So, you know, they're going to acknowledge their all-time greats. TNA is barely 7 years old. Not even quite yet, that yet. But you'll see guys, you know, you mentioned a lot of good guys. Ken Shamrock was the first champion. He'll get in. Jerry Lynn was one of the first X Division champions. He'll get in. AJ Styles, Raven, Cash, Sabu, Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, you know, Scott D'Amore will get in. Elix Skipper and Christopher Daniels will get in. P.D. Williams will get in, very likely. A lot of those guys, probably not so much. And I doubt they'll have Celebrity Wing, because Celebrity Wings, that's a bad idea. Bad idea. WWE shouldn't even have one. It's a bad idea. Regardless of how much I like Pete Rose, WWE should not have a Hall of Fame Celebrity Wing. Good question, though. I enjoyed your question. Thank you. This one is from Jose Luis. My question for you, Jeff, is what do you think John Morrison's career would be like if Chris Benoit had not committed the double homicide and self-suicide? Would he have won the ECW championship and won 2 tag titles with The Miz? That's a damn good question. Certainly the elevation of Johnny Nitro into John Morrison and what he has become now probably would have been slightly delayed had it not been for Chris Benoit's, if Chris Benoit had not done what he had done in June of 2007. But I think John always had the star quality within him. It was just a matter of time before they elevated him to the big time anyway. And I think he probably would have been a top contender for Chris Benoit's ECW championship if Benoit had stayed alive and won it, because he would have won the championship. Stephanie even said that in an interview. So, you know, it's hard to say what would have happened. You know, what if? You know, everybody talks about what if in this business, but you know, the bottom line is Chris did what he did. John got the elevation. John won the ECW championship. He's a former world champion now, former multi-time tag champion with The Miz and with Joey Mercury back in the day, a former Intercontinental champion as well as Johnny Nitro. He in my mind is a Triple Crown winner, even though WWE doesn't count the ECW title as a Triple Crown contender. Yeah, it's very hard to say. Very hard to say. That's it for this episode of Talk Wrestling. Much less clusterfucky than last week's, I'm sure. Not as many bloopers. Longer taping because we had an interruption. But you can see the sun is like right about here compared to where we were at the start of the show. So long taping. Thank you very much for tuning in. NoDQ.com. I'd like to thank you for tuning in and all our plugs as well. MySpace.com/NoDQ.com. The words. MySpace.com/NoDQ Talk Wrestling. MySpace.com/Jeff Meacham if you want to hit me up with a personal message. YouTube.com/NoDQCAW. Twitter.com/NoDQDOTCOM. The words themselves. Facebook. You can find Aaron and me both on Facebook. Is NoDQ have a Facebook or just you? Just you yourself. Okay. Aaron has a Facebook. I have a Facebook. You can hit us up on those. And I have a Twitter now. Jeff_Meacham is my URL. Twitter.com/Jeff_Meacham. Capital J, capital M. You can find us on there. And for Aaron Riff, this is Jeff Meacham saying, see you next time.